to a new video from NodeLink Automation. Today we'll be talking about the Interroll MultiControl analog interface, as they call it. It is quite useful module for those people in the logistics space. There's a couple manufacturers, obviously, who are in the space making controllers. Interroll seems to be fairly large standard in a lot of warehouses. This pulse roller and Backoff has its own. I'll focus a little bit more on the TwinCAT side of this. That's what this content will be, or people using that platform will be most useful for. So one, I guess, plus point for Interroll here is just the pricing point was very competitive from after looking at a couple of them, and you can pretty much have your sensors in here. You have your rollers. You can do 4 rollers on them, and you'll link just daisy chains together. So that's one of the nice features. Let's just go over quickly the manual here. Default IP setting. So I guess one of the heads up is if you're using Rockwell or Siemens, you don't have to worry about a lot of programming here. There's a bunch of predefined routines that'll work with it, and you just need to select them through that interface and go for it. The web interface is initially something that you do have to connect to configure the module. So this is pretty much where you switch between the protocols that you're going to be using this with. One of the things that kind of is important to note is the moment you switch it over to EtherCAD, you lose the web interface. So make sure you have these settings and configurations that you need put into the module prior to switching. There's another way to switch them afterwards too, but this might be a good way to test a couple things prior to making that switch. So as in the manual, you go on 192.168.0.1, you get to this beautiful web interface, and then you'll see among these settings, one is obviously to switch over to EtherCAD. So the moment you click bus protocol EtherCAD, boom, you're offline, like you'll reboot and no more connecting to it. So I advise that you go prior to that if your motors are hooked up, and actually you can run this off the web interface, which is kind of nice. So you need to know what kind of direction you need to go or test it. I think it's a pretty straightforward interface, and make sure that the loads match as well. So that's pretty much it from a manual perspective. You can obviously make some settings to your sensors as well, NP and PNP. And you see all the parameters here as well. There's obviously in predefined portions, you can pretty much engage on how you want to have certain things respond. But let's just switch over to TwinCAT really quick, and I'll show you what needs to be done. You have to register on the Interroll website to have access to those ESI EDS files, and then this was the only challenging part, getting the right version. So it's not clearly documented in the downloads area which one you should use. I was told with 2.1 it works. That's what I end up using. So maybe a feedback to Interroll to clarify which version should be used. Once you use and scan, you do get your your module over here. And at least from my experience until now, with the module, there's the primary controllers. You do get your sensor signals here if you have sensors plugged in, but the motor speed kind of dictates starting and stopping for now. Now, obviously, there seems to be a global start and stop, but at least when I fired it and my velocity wasn't zero, the roller didn't stop. So maybe something to look into. So you can set up some zones and other configurations in here, and pretty much from there, it's quite straightforward. You do have to write some code for indexing. I wrote a simple function block that looks at, previous position, current, and next position, and then, these are three variables, and then pretty much switch between them based on the occupancy of one module. Speaking of that, just quick add from NodeLink Automation. We have a conveyor module product here that we would like to present. It works on the Interroll controller, has sensors that can move around, guides, and uses this framework of indexing. So any questions, or if you need hardware with some customization, feel free to reach out to us. And from there, pretty much, if you have your state machine running, you can have it index back and like pretty much feed forward into the loop. That's pretty much it. Just for those who might have a feeling that they might have missed to input a certain state or a parameter that is defined here, you don't have to worry. I'm not online with the module right now, but you're able to make any of those changes in your standard settings on the module. So you can pretty much, if you have it feed forward, but you actually want it to feed backwards, you can change that direction, acceleration, jerk, whatever. Any of these parameters are still configurable in TwinCAT, just not as easy as in the web interface. Should you have any questions, comments, or interest in our conveyor product, feel free to contact us at nodelinkautomation.com or here on our current platform. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.